Okay, you guys, welcome back to the Soul Hustle Summit series. I have an exciting guest for us today. I'd like to introduce to you Ryan. I need my coffee this morning. Ryan Lowe, speaker, author, sales coach, and trainer, entrepreneur extraordinaire, author of the best-selling book "Get Off Your Attitude." And Ryan is going to talk to us today a little bit about how to bridge the gap between being, that under six figure, $80,000, sales earner into scaling to that next level in terms of mindset and how to kind of grow or I don't know, how would you explain it, Ryan? Like sharpen up your skills, like just get to that next level. Like sometimes it's a psychological jump to get from 80 grand to 100 or 200 grand a year. And I went through that in stages too in my career in sales. So share with us your wisdom, oh wise one.
Thank you. And thank you for having me. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, this is something that's deep in my heart because I've been sales training and sales coaching since 2004. I had the wonderful opportunity, if some of you are recognize Brian Tracy's name, I was able to travel the country for 8 years and train, coach, and speak and work for his organization and several organizations that promoted him. One of the things I learned from Brian is that we all have a thermostat and we're all used to making a certain amount of money. And I just heard a great story the other day about a car salesman that had a certain amount of money he wanted to make for the year, and he hit it in month six. Well, unfortunately, after month six, he just floated the rest of the year. He didn't do anything extra, didn't go, to try to get to a higher level or higher income or anything of that nature. And so that always is something that I think about when I coach and train salespeople is that we all have that thermostat. So if we're used to making 40,000, 50,000, 60,000, we're going to do $40,000 habits. We're going to do $60,000 habits. We're going to do $80,000 habits. But then the people that I know that make six figures or more, doesn't matter if you're in real estate, car sales, insurance, whatever it may be, I find that their habits are much different and their goals are loftier. And, once they set their goals and once I help them set their goals, now we figure out where do they need to spend their time and where is the most crucial time of the day. What are the most crucial things that they can do during the day? Is it phone calls, prospecting, getting referrals, whatever it may be? And so that's how I can help someone. And I've worked with people to get them to the next level. Now, is it something that happens overnight? Absolutely not. It's a gradual thing. And you said it, it comes in steps. It depends where we're at in our education wise when it comes to sales, because so many of us have gotten to a sales job. We get out of college or we get out of high school and we get that sales job. And, there you go, well, go out and sell, go out in the parking lot and sell, or, here's your book of business and go out and hit those doors and try to sell whatever you can. Well, there's an art to selling, and most people don't realize when you have that way of presenting, asking the right questions, asking the right closing questions, following up is a huge thing that I see that a lot of salespeople do not do. I was actually in the Range Rover dealership 2 weeks ago. I'm sitting there waiting on my car, and I see a salesperson. Um, the guy comes in, tells him what he wants. He wants to buy a new car for his wife, and the gentleman said, "We don't have one of those." And pretty much the guy left without, and the gentleman had to walk back into the store and say, "Hey, by the way, can I leave my name and number with you? If you ever get one of these cars in, I would love to go ahead and get that for my wife."
So the guy didn't take any contact information, didn't put him in his, leads, right? Like,
Yeah, I almost stood up and said, "Let me take over this and let me share with you. Here are the questions that you should be asking. Here's the information you should be getting." And then I would have said everything in the world that I will find that car for you, because there's other dealerships throughout the country that he could have found that car on. So it was never the next step. And it was a younger gentleman. I could tell that he was new in sales. And so there's a lot of stuff that we don't learn while we're at work, if that makes sense. Your managers don't have time, your VPs of sales don't have time, and a lot of companies are not offering sales training to their clients or to their salespeople.
I
Uh,
think that's crazy in the car industry, in a sales driven industry, how
yeah,
they wouldn't be training their sales staff on how to close deals, generate leads, get clients, and follow
absolutely.
up. Like that's just the ABCs, right?
Yeah, I mean, the referral business is it. I mean, anyone that I see that makes over six figures has
Mhm.
a solid referral program that they're getting people to call them. Even if I've got a referral program, I've had speaking engagements and coaching clients that we ended up not working together. And then a year later or a couple of months later, I'm getting referrals from them because we had such a great conversation, but they weren't a great fit. Not everybody's going to be a great fit in your
Right.
business, but they could be a great referral partner in your business.
Right. Okay. So I want to rewind a little bit. One of the things that I noticed throughout my career over the years is that that level, that up level, that shift that took you from one income bracket to the next, and habits, yes, contribute, but there's also a level. I feel looking back, there was a level of self worth or belief system or visualizing being at that level before you get there. How do you, when you work with clients, how do you get them into the mindset of being a 6 or 7 figure income earner versus, you know,
You're right. No, you're absolutely right. It's a mindset. And the first thing that I tell everyone is that you've got to start doing things you're not used to doing to start getting things you're not used to getting.
mhm,
And once you
mhm,
get
mhm.
to that level, stop feeling. I've had some clients, I had a client the other day tell me that, he reached the next level and he started feeling guilty that he started making more money. Or he
Wow.
started, I've had other clients tell me that they've just struggled their whole life because they had a fear of success. And so that's a big thing. People don't realize that. There's a lot of people, we sabotage most of our success.
I would 100% agree with that. And I've been coming up against, my business coach is amazing and she talks all about leadership. Like you can put anything into a process. You could follow any coach's sales process. It's your leadership that's going to sabotage you in the end. And
Yeah.
you've got to manage your emotions when they come up, um, in order to kind of, get out of your own way. It's like, oh, there's that again. I'm just going to keep moving forward. You know?
Absolutely. That's why I wrote the book entitled Get Off Your Attitude, because I could have wrote a book on sales, leadership, customer service. I train on all of those, but it's the number one core. It's the number one habit linked to our success. Is if we think we can, we can. If we think we can't, we can't. We're right, as Henry Ford said. But
Mhm.
the thing of it is it's the belief system.
So
I've
tell me
gone
more about
through,
the book. What's your book about then? I mean, you kind of are
and
alluding
that's
to
what
it
it's
now,
about.
but
It's about getting off your attitude. And I had a gentleman tell me, and it's so funny that you said this. I had
Mhm.
a gentleman a couple of years ago that I gave him my book, and he says, "Is it about getting out of your own way?" I said, "Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about turning that negative mindset off." We have two radio stations going on in our mind, WNEG and WPOS. We're also that WNEG
That's
cranked up in
funny.
our mind that we're not capable of doing that. I'm not good enough. I don't deserve that. Like you said, the mindset of saying, I deserve that. I can have that. Just because my parents didn't have it, or my siblings didn't have it, or none of my friends made it, I can still make it. And so we're so used to, so anyway, back to your question, though, the book is about getting you out of your own way. Really, and my word of the year this year is action, taking action. And
Right?
I always pick a word of the year. And the definition of get off your attitude is to think positive and take action. And
I
it's
need to get
about,
a word of the year.
yeah,
I
I
love
always have a
that.
word of the
It's the
year.
second time this week I've heard something about like your word of the year, and I'm like, I need a word of the year. What's
Yeah,
my word of the year?
I started that 3 years ago. I had two friends of mine do the same thing. They're telling me about the word of the year, and I said, you know what? This year it's all about action. Every time I get fearful, I get that funny feeling in my stomach, or
Yeah.
something crazy, or if I think of a big goal or something that I want to accomplish, and I
You're
tell
like,
myself
oh,
I'm not good enough or I can't do that, then I really look back and go, yes, you can. Look at all the things that you've done. You've published a book, you did a TEDx talk, you've done all these different things, and you've coached, thousands of people over your career. You got to look back and look at your successes so that you can move forward as well. Don't stay in them, but keep
mm,
moving forward. And like I said, you got to crank up WPOS that you can do it, that you can move forward. And really the get off your attitude message, and I do the get off your attitude bracelet. And um, I've had
I love that. I think you
NFL
should give that
players.
to your opt-ins when you
Absolutely. I'll throw that
send the
in.
get off your attitude bracelet. Not that I'm volunteering you for extra work, but
And then I also have, this is something I go through. This is my other book called Goya-isms. And so those are all my positive quotes that I came up with through the years and that I put through my book. And then I had
what's
so many other.
Goya? What's Goya? Elaborate on Goya. What does that mean?
Goya is get off your attitude. So
Oh,
that's, yeah, I know most people
oh.
don't
You
get it.
got an acronym.
Yeah, I actually have it on the back of my car. That's my license plate, Goya. And
Oh
people are
my
like,
God.
do you like the food
What?
that much? I was like, no, it's not the food, Goya. The
That's
Goya.
really funny.
No,
I
I
wanted
live
to
by
talk, there was
that.
something else in there that I wanted you to expand on a little bit. You know, I remember what it was. Sales, like selling. It what is people I think feel like I'm not a salesperson or I'm not a, I mean, you've been working with salespeople, but can anyone learn to sell? And um how would you recommend they kind of shift into I'm not selling, I'm, like the
Absolutely.
word the
I'm
word of
glad that, yeah,
the year is, serving in the coaching industry. It's I'm not selling, I'm serving.
yeah.
But so
And it,
what's your take on that?
that's what it boils down to. You are serving. So when I tell people that if they're thinking about getting into sales, I've done sales one-on-one classes before at the local libraries before. People that are looking to make a shift, especially now what we've gone through with COVID and other things, that people are making all these different shifts in their career.
Mhm.
Sales is not about, don't have the radio station WIIFM on. And most 90% of the salespeople have that. It's what's in it for me.
Mhm.
We get a sales job, our buddy's making six figures. And even in my book, I talked about this where I chased money for years. My buddies were making six figures. I wanted to make six figures. I'd sell anything to make six figures.
Mhm.
No, you've got to learn that in sales, you've got to find a product that you believe in. Is if it's yourself, like I sell coaching, training, sales, learn how to sell yourself. If it's insurance, believe in what you're selling. If you believe that life insurance policies or financial planning or real estate, if you love homes and you have a passion and excitement for it, sales is easy then because all you're doing in sales is fixing someone's problem. When
Mhm.
somebody comes to me and says, Ryan, I want to hire you as a coach, what's your number one problem? They'll tell me.
Mhm.
And so I almost tell people that we're like a doctor.
Mhm.
What's the first thing a doctor asks when we go in? Where does it
It
hurt?
hurt.
Yep.
Where's
So
the
when you
pain?
sit down with a client, I mean, most people that walk on, I sold Tommy can shoes when I was in high school.
Mhm.
And I never forget my manager telling me, he said, look, yeah, most women that come in here, yeah, they're just sometimes looking, but I would say the majority are coming here because they want to buy a pair of shoes. So if they don't buy them in our store, they're going to walk down two or three stores and go buy them from somebody else. You might as well fulfill their need while they're here. And
Mhm.
sure, I start asking questions. And I think that's what sales is about,
Mhm.
asking the right questions. What brings you in today? Are you looking for something
Mhm.
specific? Things of that nature. And you get a conversation going. And me being from the South, that's easy. It's easy just to start asking, fun questions. Oh, where are you from? And what do you do? And things of that nature. And then when you really get, the other thing is really getting to know someone
Mhm.
before you can really ask for the business, getting to learn what their business is about. What are they trying to accomplish? What are they, why are they looking or meeting with you for your product and your service?
Mhm.
Obviously, they have a need. It's
Mhm.
your job to fulfill that need, but you have to ask questions to do it.
So, that leads to a really important point in my business. I have to create very like rapid rapport because to gain permission, to get permission to go to that level and to ask those, second and third level questions without being intrusive,
Yeah.
um, you know, you don't, how do I put this? The traditional way of selling is ask a bunch of questions and then solve the problem. But the thing is, people nowadays are very savvy and they don't want to be sold something. So, how
No.
do you navigate getting to the core of the problem, opening somebody up to the point where they're willing to share with you what's really get to the truth of what's really going on? How do you approach that
So
conversation?
I think it comes off that you've got to connect with people. You've got to learn how to connect with people. And when I used to walk into offices, I sold telecommunications when I first got out of college, when I moved to Dallas, Texas.
Mhm.
And the one thing that I would do is I would walk into someone's office and I would see Texas football or Texas A&M or, UT and all these different things, or Dallas Cowboys. And believe me, I'm from Louisiana, so I'm a Saints and I'm an LSU fanatic. So
Mhm.
I had to learn about their football and their thing. So, but if I saw a deer or a bass on the wall, or hunting or fishing, or, their family or whatever, I kind of built that rapport off of something that I could connect with them with. And
Mhm.
I know it's old fashioned, but it works. It worked for
Mhm.
me. And I could, oh, you're a deer hunter. Oh, you fish, or, oh, I see you went to school here, or I see you like football, whatever it may be.
Mhm.
People buy from people that they like.
Mhm.
That's the simple rule right there. And if you don't click with somebody, go on to the next person. You're not going to,
I'm going to turn this on its head for a second. How do you
yeah.
know when they are not the right fit for you?
You could tell by their attitude. You could tell by that, you could tell by their attitude. You could tell by the resistance. Now, if you're going to have some resistance, don't get me wrong, in sales, but if it's major resistance, sometimes you've got to back up, and then you got to know how to ask the right questions. Maybe this is not the right time for you to purchase from me. Maybe there's another time that we can get together. Sometimes you got to do the takeaway close. You got to say, hey, you know what? Maybe this is not the right product for you or the right
Mhm.
service. Maybe we need to revisit at some time, or I can refer you to somebody.
Mhm.
There's a lot of little things that you can do, but most of the time we all think that everybody's a client, a possible client, or we all think that everybody's a potential client. It's
Mhm.
not always the case. And I don't think so.
No, but I mean, and I think that's a big theme right now, especially in the consulting and coaching world, is, I think entrepreneurs are getting more specific about who they want to work with. They're
Mhm.
very niche, down into their genius zone, which is great because you're not trying to be everything to everyone.
Exactly.
And, I heard a philosophy that there should be a 50-50 chance that you decline I mean, there are people out there who are like, shut up and take my money. I want to work with you, but they might not be the right fit for that coach or consultant, you know?
Absolutely. And you got to be very careful with your time as an entrepreneur. I've taken on clients before that have,
Soul sucked,
oh my gosh, I call them energy vampires in my book. I mean, they just suck the
right?
life out of you. And that's when I kind of just go, you know what, this is not going to work.
How do you
Um,
recognize those clients? Tell me, like, what is the tip off that it's like this is going to be that kind of client that's just going to
Argumentative. I mean, they don't believe in, they're kind of argumentative. They don't believe in what you're trying, what
right,
advice that you're
not
giving.
coachable.
Not coachable. They know it all. The one thing I learned in life, and look, I'm sure you have, and I'm sure a lot of people that are going to be watching this, we've all done a lot in life. But if you don't have that attitude of that, I can learn more, and that, what, I have to look at things in other different ways that other people see them. I mean, you've got to look, the first thing you have to do with a new client is you got to put yourself in their shoes. What are they trying to do? I'm meeting with a client tomorrow that's never hired a sales coach before. Yeah, the money that he's going to spend with me, I can tell that he is like on the phone. He's like, well, you know what? I'm not sure about, so we're going to meet.
Mhm.
Might not be a great fit, but you know what? I'm going to give him the opportunity. Let's meet. Let's talk. Let's see if I can fulfill your needs. And you know what? Show them their return on investment. If you invest this type of money, let's talk about how many clients that you would get out of that, or what type of business are you going to build by hiring a coach.
Mhm.
So you've got to be able to walk somebody through. And at the end, they may put their hands up and say, you know what, I can't afford this, or you know what, there might be something that I could do at a later date, or you know what, this is not what I'm looking for. And sometimes you've got to be able to say, this is not what I'm looking for as well.
I think it just raises one more point before I get into what you're going to offer our audience today. But I think a lot of times entrepreneurs in particular, what they're not necessarily looking for uh, a massive financial return. Like, yes, we want to improve our conversion rates especially when you're spending money on expensive digital ads, but it's really often a sense of feeling more confident in the sales call process or in the enrollment process, because I
Absolutely.
think a lot of people are just psychologically afraid to sell or get on that call, and so they're hoping to rely on digital offers
Yes.
to bring in an income versus getting really intimate and asking powerful questions to their potential clients. Um, so when you're working with an entrepreneur as a coaching client, how do you approach needs that are maybe more emotional or psychological than just fiscal?
Well,
I guess the word is, how do you measure? How do you measure their success in that sense?
you bring up a good point, and it all depends where you're at in your career. I've been doing this for 15 years, so I can be pickier with the clients that I bring on. If you're just starting out as an entrepreneur,
Mhm.
sometimes we got to go through the muck to get to the good. And sometimes that you've got to, sometimes you got to have a bad client or two, or you got to learn how to navigate with them.
Yeah.
So psychologically, I would tell, and that's one thing that we all have to get back to being better at, is being better on the phone or in an interview or maybe something of this nature.
Mhm.
We do hide behind emails, text messages. We hide behind digital
Mhm.
media. Oh yeah, we'll just get leads coming in. But you've got to make those phone calls, and you've got to, like myself. Several years ago, it's as an example, I was pretty much lowballing myself for all my speaking engagements. It's probably about 5 or 6 years ago. And one of
Mhm.
my friends was like, Ryan, you've been doing this for so long. You should be at this level. I
Mhm.
didn't see myself at that level. So
Mhm.
when I would say, okay, this is what it's going to cost, I would cringe. They couldn't see me on the phone, but I would like just wait.
That
Yeah,
pregnant pause.
yeah, that pause, and
Oh,
then I finally went, you know what? I have nothing to lose. So I would say it. This is what it's about. This is what you're going to get. This is what type of speaking. I've been doing this. You'll see all my testimonials. So I knew how to pitch it without
mhm.
sounding salesy, to
Mhm.
say, you get what you pay for. Do you want to
Mhm.
go spend for $1,000 for a speaking, or do you want to spend $10,000 for a speaking? You're going to get what you pay for. And
Mhm.
so there's
Mhm.
ways, and it's the verbiage, and you're going to get better and better. The more you get on the phone, the more you talk to people, the more you quote, the more it builds that confidence. But like you said, if we hide behind that, it really takes away from our confidence.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Practice makes perfect.
Well, perfect practice makes perfect.
I was just writing down practice pitch perfect. There you go.
Yeah.
So Ryan, what do you have for our audience today? I know this is a very special high value offer. So Ryan is only going to offer a handful to the first, how many?
Well, I'm going to do the first 50. And what I'm doing is that I'm going to be doing a class for 10 weeks. And I take companies through this class, and it starts with goal setting, time management, prospecting, identifying needs, presentation skills, closing techniques, how to handle objections, positive attitude. And my favorite, well, besides positive attitude, my other favorite topic, self-development.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in reading videos, going to seminars, going to online seminars right now during COVID, things of that nature, keeping the axe sharp. But that's a 10-week course. Usually it's about a $2,500 commitment when I have people sign up for that.
Mhm.
But as we're offering today, it's going to be, $9.95, but it's a free, commitment for the first 50 people that come on. So
Awesome.
I'm really excited about sharing this with 50 of you that can log in. We're going to do like a Zoom type setting that everybody can ask questions.
Cool.
And I'm going to teach this class. It's kind of like a PowerPoint type system
So
that I'll
so
be using.
after the first 50 get it for free, the rest who are part of the summit can pick it up for 9.95.
Right.
So get
Correct.
in there quick.
What's that? Yeah. Get in there
Get in there
quick.
quick.
Yeah. Because,
Be the first 50. Be in the first 50.
yeah, the first 50,
Awesome,
we're
Ryan.
gonna set that up. But and I'm hoping that I love sharing this with people. I love sharing that, how to get over that hump, how to cross that barrier, how to, all of us, in our careers, we all hit a wall. How do we get through that wall? How do we break through? So I believe that a lot of people that will be on that call or on that video conference, I think that you'll be able to really learn a lot. And I picked up a lot through my years through Brian Tracy, Zig Ziglar, Og Mandino, Les Brown, all of these different topics, these different speakers, trainers on sales. I've
Mhm.
studied all of them. So
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
think that, and I've come up with my own stuff through my book. My next book that I'm working on right now is Get Off Your Attitude and start selling. So that's going to be something that will be coming out hopefully next year. So I'm working on
Awesome.
that as we speak. So I'm a big believer in helping others, and I'm a big believer in coaching, and big believer in seeing people grow. I love watching people grow. So that's why I'm a big proponent of self-development.
I'm with you on that too, Ryan. Awesome. Okay, my love. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in to Ryan Lowe's Coach's Corner Wisdom for salespeople, professional salespeople, and entrepreneurs. And Ryan, we're going to see you on the flip side, buddy. I'm going to hit the stop button, and you guys keep your eyes peeled for the next installment of the Soul Hustle Summit series. See you here.